So this is something, I've probably talked about a number of times, but your mental operating system, is quite interesting. And the part of the reason it's interesting is because you're probably at least partly oblivious to it. Now, sometimes when you come in contact with someone who has a really different operating system than your own, and then that contrast helps you to see how different you are. So, for instance, if you're an extremely confident person, or let's say if you're a confident person, not extremely, just confident person, and then come up against someone who is incredibly not confident, right? Extremely timid, anxious, whatever you want to call it. And then you might be like, oh wow, around this person, I feel like I'm a super confident dude, just because the contrast is so high. And you're like, I guess I'm more confident than I realized. Or it could be the other way around. If you think I'm a fairly confident person, you come around someone who's like just oozing confidence from every pore, you might be like, oh, I guess I live life a little tentatively, compared to this person. Or it could be, introversion, extroversion, talkative, not like you were like, oh, I talk. Let's say, you're someone who's like, I talk quite a bit, I'm pretty chatty. And then you come against someone who's like super chatty, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm not super chatty because this is what super chatty is. Like, you know. So recently I took the online. I took this little test by Dr. Amen or his organization to see what type of brain I have. And according to the test, which I found to be a little difficult because I found myself clicking the middle option a lot. But the test identified my brain as being brain type 4, which I guess is sort of like an anxious type. So I'm not speaking that over my brain as being anxious, but apparently I may have some tendencies towards being anxious. And I kind of got to think about it, like, yeah, I mean, I guess there are certainly times anyway where I feel some anxiousness. I'm like, how does that, can an anxious brain still, because I can also feel like dull and bored of things and want like stimulation, if you will, or like excitement or whatever. And so it's like, would an anxious brain already be kind of tending to be overexcited rather than needing stimulation? So I'm not quite sure how all of that meshes. And I don't know for sure. I don't know how accurate that test is either. Fairly subjectively kind of giving responses to things. But I was like, yeah, okay. There's these various things that I can kind of naturally probably tend to be worried about, at least depending on the situation. And even just kind of in where we're at right now, like there's a couple different things I'm like, okay, yeah, there's some money things, some scheduling things, some various things we might want to accomplish. And yeah, it's true. I was feeling some potentially some anxiousness about it, and how much, like, is it possible that there's some level of anxiousness that I've just gotten used to having, and so because I'm just used to it now, I just assume it's normal. It's not something particularly unusual. Whereas maybe I'm not aware of how much life could be improved if I wasn't anxious at all about things. I don't know that I've ever been someone that you would say has been crippled by anxiety. Well, actually, when I was a kid, there were some times when I was really not looking forward to, some kind of like surgery or something like that, maybe, that you could say I had something, I guess you could call it anxiety, I don't know. But it does make me wonder if I have accepted living with sort of a low grade nervousness about things that I don't need to. And so hopefully I can figure out some ways to change that So, to improve my quality of life and also to improve my ability to make life better for other people too.